All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into a topic that, let's be honest, affects just about everyone. Teachers, parents, managers. We're talking about Gen Z versus Gen Alpha and how they've completely rewritten the rules of learning. So let's start with the big burning question. Why do the teaching methods that worked for decades suddenly feel like they're falling flat? If you've ever felt that way, you are definitely not alone. It's a feeling echoing through classrooms and offices everywhere. And the answer, it turns out, is incredibly simple, but also pretty profound. The methods themselves aren't broken. The students, the audience, have changed. Fundamentally, we're dealing with a brand new type of learner. So, Section 1, a new kind of student. We're really entering what you could call the age of the guide, where the role of an educator is just different now. Okay, first up, let's decode a generation we're all getting pretty familiar with, right? Generation Z. You can think of them as our original digital natives.
See, Gen Z never had to adapt to technology. They were literally born into it. For them, a world without a smartphone in their pocket or instant access to the internet, that's like ancient history. And this isn't just some fun trivia point. It's the absolute key to understanding how they learn. So, in the real world, what does this look like? Well, it means their learning style is all about speed and interaction. They're super visual, they expect feedback now, not next week, and they want things to feel personalized. But if there's one golden rule for Gen Z, it's this. They learn best by doing. Passive lectures, they just don't cut it. Which leads us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If that's how they're wired, how do we, as teachers, as leaders, as anyone trying to communicate, actually bridge that gap and connect with them? The playbook for Gen Z is all about engagement. First, you've got to integrate the tech they're already fluent in. Then, you keep content short, punchy, and visual. But it's not all digital. It's also about building their motivation with quick feedback and strengthening those crucial social skills with hands-on group work. It's really a blend of high tech and high touch. Okay, Section 3. Just when we thought we had the digital native thing figured out, the rules changed again. It's time to introduce Generation Alpha, the true future digital citizens. So if Gen Z were the digital natives, Gen Alpha, they're something else entirely. For them, technology like AI, virtual reality, even coding, it isn't just a tool they pick up and use. It's a fundamental part of their reality, as natural as breathing. They're the first generation to be totally immersed in this stuff from the moment they were born. And right here, you can see a huge evolution from Gen Z. For Gen Alpha, it's not just about using tech. It's about total integration. They don't just want a personalized experience. They expect to drive their own learning journey. This independence, this global mindset, it's why they're so naturally wired for skills like creative problem solving. So our approach has to shift, right? We have to go from managing learning to empowering it. That means using advanced tech like augmented reality, not as a special treat, but as a standard tool. It means handing them the keys to design their own creative projects. And really focusing our teaching on the skills that can't be automated, like collaboration, problem solving, and emotional intelligence. Okay, so we've met both generations. Now it's time for the main event. Let's put them side by side and really look at the key differences in a head-to-head showdown. This is where those new rules of learning are going to snap right into focus. This table just lays it all out so clearly. Look at the jump. Gen Z has high digital literacy. For Gen Alpha, it's innate. Gen Z uses tech effectively. Gen Alpha has it deeply integrated into who they are. And look at this, the expectation of a teacher. For Gen Z, a guide was what they needed. For Gen Alpha, the teacher has to be a personalizer, a curator for their unique journey. That is a massive, massive shift. And then there's this, the big one, the one everyone talks about, focus. If we thought Gen Z's attention spans were short from juggling a bunch of screens, well, our source material is warning us that Gen Alpha's is even shorter. They're being conditioned for constant, rapid-fire information, and that presents a huge challenge for anyone trying to teach deep, focused work. So, faced with all of this, with these constantly evolving learners,
What are the new rules of engagement? How do we take all this information and boil it down into an approach that actually works in the real world right now?
Here it is, the modern educator's playbook. It's really built on two pillars. The first is a mindset shift. You have to embrace technology, you have to act as a guide, not a lecturer, and you have to understand these trends. But the second pillar is all about focusing on what makes us human, fostering those 21st century skills like creativity, and maybe most importantly, practicing empathy to forge a real human connection. You know, this quote from Dr. Alabay, the author of our source material, just captures it perfectly. Education has moved beyond the classroom walls. Learning isn't something that happens in one place at one time anymore. It's fluid, it's constant, and it is everywhere.
And that brings us to our final, and maybe the most critical part of this explainer. All this info is great, but what can you do with it? Right now, are you future ready? You can start today literally with 3 powerful, simple shifts. First, try flipping your classroom. Let them watch the lecture at home and do the active homework with you in the room. Second, gamify your lessons. You would be amazed at how far small rewards can go for motivation. And third, maybe the most powerful tool of all, just ask them. Make your students partners in their own education. Their answers might just be the best lesson plan you ever get. So we end right back where we started. The students of Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they aren't coming, they are here. And they are evolving at a breakneck pace, rewriting the rules of learning right in front of us. And so the final question isn't really about them. It's about us. Are we evolving too?